And good morning. Welcome to another edition of Coach's Corner here on the Highlander Activity Network. Basketball is our focal point on today's program, and we'll kick things off with head coach Jim McDaniel from the Highlander boys basketball team. Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Our last day of weather like this.
It is.
Yeah, spring's coming.
Yes, it'll be 40.
It's going to be 40 next week. Before we get to what's coming up here down the line, let's get to Tuesday night, a makeup game with Central Cass, a game that was supposed to be playing into January. Tough loss with Central Cass, but that's a basketball team that's very weird. They may have lost a few guys, but they're a good ball club.
They're good. They're good. Lisbon's good.
Yeah.
Us and Northern Cass, we're four teams that are all the same. We're all going to beat each other. And, yeah, we did not play very well. And I thought they played pretty well. So it's going to be, when we get to the regional tournament, it's going to be those four teams battling.
Right.
Yep.
What was the difference in the game on Tuesday night that kind of turned things towards the Squirrels?
We played terrible.
Yeah, pretty much bottom line, huh?
Yeah, we did not. I didn't think we shot very well. I thought we had some easy baskets that we missed. We rebounded poorly. I don't think we had all guys touching the ball. It was just you want to be going the other direction.
Right.
I think when we lost to Northern Cass, we were without Jack. He was sick. Then we lost to Lisbon, which was a close one. We let that one get away. I don't think we played our best that game. I don't think we're the healthiest that we can be. Not an excuse or anything, but it seems like as we lost that, we've just started to kind of go the wrong way a little bit. So, we got to regroup.
That was an overtime game. You get the last second bucket, literally,
yes.
To get the game into overtime. Free throws seem to be a little bit of a bugaboo in that one.
Yeah, free throws. That's kind of we haven't shot free throws very well all year.
Right.
And that would have been a big game changer if we'd have made some free throws. We only made I think we were like 6 of 16 or something like that. Okay, so that's a huge stat in an overtime game. We had a lot of turnovers. We had more turnovers that game than we normally. We're right around 10, 11 turnovers a game. That game we had 18 or 19, something like that. So a couple of big stats that are costly.
that cost, that's 18. That's probably 8 or 9 more possessions Lisbon gets.
Yes,
that you didn't get.
And rebounding, we've been letting the other teams get too many offensive rebounds.
Yeah.
So there's little things like that turn to be big problems if you're trying to win a game against teams that it's going to be a battle to the end.
Right.
And so we gotta shore those things up and because tomorrow against Oak Grove, again, I know they're probably sitting right now as the 7th seed as far as points, but it's not a team that you just like, well, they're the 7th seed, so we can easily just get a win back. That's not going to be. We're going to have to play well, and so we had a pretty good practice last night. Hopefully tonight we have a good practice and we're ready to go on Friday.
Looked like Jack Samuelson suited up, but at least getting him suited up and getting a little bit of floor time was nice.
Yes, and that was kind of the first time that he's actually been on the floor a little bit. He did get one practice in a little bit, after sitting on the sideline every one of these practices. So he's trying to get him in shape. He's a little rusty, that arm. He's trying to get that to work.
Right.
And so he's done a nice job jumping in and getting some minutes. And hopefully every game he can get a little bit more and get a little more comfortable.
One thing I looked at, you and I talked about it last week about, your junior varsity guys. They're going to be varsity guys next year. So now you looked at the Northern Cass game, I believe it was. Aiden and I think Richard got some quality, important minutes in that game.
Yes, they had to come in. We were short, and those two guys came in, and I thought really did a nice job, doing what they needed to do, and it's helped. We've had some JV games where we've canceled a JV game. We've had shortened quarters with numbers and things like that. They've gotten time, and then here we are. They're jumping in and doing what they need to do.
And I look like Richard mostly on defense. He was kind of because he's a quick defensively. He was able to get in the passing lanes.
Both of those guys are quick. If you want to get out on the court and race, those guys are quick. They're fast and they're quick, and both can jump. And so yeah, they defensively they came in and did a nice job.
I'm sure there's a list about as long as this table that you could that you want to improve on over the next 4 games. But let's highlight a couple of them. You got Oak Grove, and then you hit the road to wrap up the regular season.
Yep.
What does this team need to do to get ready as you look towards the regionals?
Right now, they're taking away our. We got good shooters, and they're taking away our shooting. I think as we played everybody the first time around, everybody was kind of worried about our size, so they pack it in, and we made. We were making shots. We got good shooters. Now they've changed it against us. They're going to take away our shooting first, and we now have to focus on, we got to use our inside game. We got to get shots in the paint, and then those outside shots will open up. Right now we're battling that. We're still trying to maybe stay out on the perimeter, but teams are going to defend us on the perimeter right now. So we got to get a balance of that inside-out game.
Well, tomorrow night with Oak Grove is also senior night.
And senior night, parents' night.
Parents' night. So you got a handful of guys that are going to be playing their last game on the floor at the Hack tomorrow night.
Yep. So I hope this little hiccup we've had over these last couple of games. Every season there's going to be adversity and stuff like that you got to fight through, whether it be injuries or sickness. We've had that. You're going to have games where you don't play very well.
Right.
Everybody always thinks we got to be playing at a peak level all the time. These are high school kids. They got a lot of stuff going on.
Right.
I watch college games and pro games. They're not playing top-notch basketball or whatever every single game. So why would we expect high school kids to do that? Right. So we're in a little bit of a tough spot right now. We need Oak Grove. We need to stop what we've been doing, start fresh, and all of a sudden we forget about all those things that have been going on, because the season really gets going once we, the important part comes right ahead.
Yeah.
The other part was just preparing for that. So I hope we're prepared.
It's a 4-game season now. Tomorrow night, then the last 3 regular seasons, and then you go from there.
And then once you hit the regional tournament, everything else, whatever happened prior, the seeds are set. Now it's just, we got to play our best basketball and make something happen. So any things that happened back that was good, I hope we continue. Anything we did poorly, let's hopefully we learn from that and it all comes together and we win the games we need to.
All right. Well, Coach, we'll see you tomorrow night, 5:30 JV, 7 o'clock varsity. The probably parents thing between the JV and varsity? Between
JV and varsity, I think right when that JV game is done, we're going to try to get parents and everybody lined up, so we do that before the varsity warm-ups get going. So
all right. Should be a fun night, so we need to pack the Hack for one more time.
One more time for the year.
All right. Thanks, Jim. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Coach Jim McDaniel from the Highlander boys basketball. We'll be back with girls basketball when we return to Coach's Corner on the Highlander Activity Network. Back here on Coach's Corner on the Highlander Activity Network on this Thursday morning, and now switching to girls basketball. They are in a lull until next Tuesday when they start the Region 1 tournament, and we're joined by assistant coach Tara Glant. How you doing this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm loving 17 below, but it's almost over. Let's talk JV, junior varsity. Season's been done now for a little while for these young ladies, and you and I have talked about it before, kind of off mic and up the court. A lot of your JV this year did get to play JV last year as 8th graders. Did you see a little bit of improvement with this team from last year to this year?
Yeah, there's 5 freshmen that came up last year to play with us, and they continued on this year, and they did a really nice job. They've been playing together since they were young, so they know where each other is. They know what they're capable of between one another. So that's really fun to see. And then you throw in a couple juniors and Nora, our lone sophomore on the JV. I mean, they all play together so well. It's really fun to see. We started off the year really strong. I thought we did very well together, and then sickness maybe hit in a little bit here, which is kind of plaguing us towards the end. And I don't know. Our last couple games we struggled a little bit defensively. I tried a few different ways to get them motivated, and it's they just weren't feeling it that game, or they weren't capable or not capable. They're always capable. It's just they couldn't find it that day, or somebody was off, or I don't know. It was weird because we had beat both Castleton and who was our other one? Northern Cass, maybe we lost to. And we had beaten those guys before pretty handily, I guess one would say. And I don't know, I just found it strange. But when some nights you're just not there. You know, you're not on, and it's a struggle sometimes, and that's okay. They're high school kids. There's so many other things that are going on in their lives. They've been sick. There's lots of schoolwork to be doing. And so they're just busy kids. Yeah. So we chalk it up to a learning experience, and we move on. We don't sit on what we did wrong. We try to move on, but they can't always do that either. They're so down on themselves sometimes, and I don't know why, but just trying to get them to move on. It's done. It's over. Let's go to the next game or next play even. Yeah,
and you as a coach, you're looking for those combinations, but of course you get players like Kinley Suffolkul and Sky that are playing 4 quarters of varsity, and maybe a Katie Coca. So you kind of really have to find that combination, and sometimes you lose them for a quarter.
Well, right, and there are some games. Towards the end, Kinsley was playing 4 quarters, which helped because earlier she was playing 3. And then, so that was hard. At some points, there was only 1 girl left on the bench, and they were tired. And, no matter how much you run in practice or you condition in practice, sometimes it's just not the same as games. I mean, you could be up and down for 4 minutes straight in basketball and without a break. And I looked at them, and I'm like, I'm sorry, like post players, I don't have many. I had... I think one, Sarah, Sarah would come in and give some great minutes, and she had a tremendous season. I mean, lots of and ones she had this year, so that was really fun to see. Just seeing the smile on her face, knowing that she can do it. She needs confidence down in there because that's a physical place to play, so just giving her that confidence that she is capable to do it. That was fun to see of Sarah.
Even at the JV level, it's physical down there too, because they're trying to fight for maybe getting some varsity minutes.
Yes,
And so they're going to say, I'm going to show the varsity coach what I can do on the JV.
Yeah. And then sometimes I think they let that get to their heads too.
Right.
Oh my gosh, I just made a mistake. Now what? Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter. You're going to make mistakes, and that was a lot of my talk in the locker room. You're going to make mistakes, but it's okay. Just play basketball. Have fun.
And a lot of your players, they will get a chance to play some varsity. And how big is that for you as a JV coach after they play a varsity game? You look at Kinsley, that will get some varsity minutes a little bit and get a chance to bring that speed of a varsity game down to JV. It maybe slows down a little bit for him or not?
Yeah, I think our biggest thing right now is the varsity's a little bit faster. And so getting them to play at that speed is a little bit harder. Right. I think another year of growth for some of those freshmen will do a lot. Working on it over the summer will help with the speed. Yes, it does slow down in JV, and it speeds up a little bit more in varsity. So just getting them used to the different speed of the game and the quickness of their defenders. I mean, and who they're guarding. That's a big deal.
And you got good shooters, too. Your perimeter game is very, with Kinley and Kinsley and Coca, you've got some very good perimeter. And then Bryn Leak, one thing I'm surprised with Bryn is how she rebounds. Yeah. She'll get 5-6 rebounds a game.
Yeah, I always call her kind of a freak athlete since she was little. Honestly, since she was little, I mean, the girls' calves are huge, you know. You got her in there rebounding. She misses a shot. She has the tenacity to go up and get her own rebound. You got Mariah Fries. She's been injured a little bit, but she came in, and when we need some knockdowns, I mean, her natural three-point shot, I mean, she's strong enough to put it up there. Kinsley's is a little, she's not as strong out there yet. Muscle memory, she'll get there. But Mariah, I mean, you put her out there, and at any given night, she can knock them down. And Bryn, she'll surprise you and hit a few, but then she's got her speed and her layups too. Coca, when she's set, I mean, they all can, and it's really fun to see. Putting it all together on nights that we put it all together, we're really good in the JV, you know, which is exciting for the future as well, because if we can put it all together in the JV like we have, in the future, their varsity time together will be great too. And it's been great this year with the group that we have on varsity right now as well.
And getting a chance to practice against arguably the second best team in the state, if not the best team in the state in single A, how crucial is that for their improvement and growth as individuals?
It is, and I think in practice sometimes, you know, it's girls, they get a little bit, you know, they go at each other, and I sometimes you got to take a step back and just remind each other that this is how we make each other better. Like, this JV can challenge our varsity and vice versa, you know, and our varsity needs some other people to challenge them too, but this JV does a nice job challenging our varsity, and, you know, guarding, like Dakota's guarding Kinsley most of the time, and Mariah and Maddie, even though we don't like those two sisters guarding each other, they do, you know, and Sky and Katie, they'll go against each other, and then Rylan, she gets in there. She's not afraid to scrap a little bit and make you work. Bailey, she doesn't see any JV, but, you know, she practices really hard against the girls, and she makes those post girls work. And, you know, and Nora gets in there, and she's long. They're just a fun group.
Yeah.
These juniors I've been with since they were 7th graders.
Right.
And so it's just really fun to see the growth that they've all had, and they maybe don't think they've grown so much, but as a coach, I see it, and I see their potential. And so just trying to pull the best out of them is the goal for me. You know, I get after them, but I get after them because I know they know, and we've talked about those things. Rylan is one that she can shoot. She's timid, but when she can shoot that baseline jumper, and she just won't sometimes. And just some other girls, you know, Bryn at the beginning of the season was very shy to shoot the ball, and towards the end of the season, then she wasn't scared to shoot, and that's kind of what I'd been preaching on her a lot. So, because we need everybody to shoot. If you're scared to shoot, they're not going to guard you. You got to be a threat.
The only bad shot's the untaken shot.
That's right. Exactly.
That's something you put up in the locker room. But now we'll just quick with the varsity. I guess really the one varsity question I have: 11 days off. Any worries of a little of that rust, or not with this group?
We've been sick. Girls have missed practice. We had a few gone yesterday. We had a few gone Tuesday. There's some homesick today, I know already. So just getting over whatever it is we have. There's been influenza A, which so just getting healthy. And we've been trying to practice as hard as we can. We did some running workouts yesterday and did a lot of shooting. The bubble is allowing us to practice there on Friday. So we're going to get in there and practice a little bit. But, you know, just getting them ready. And we've preached that it's brand new. You know, the season starts, like Coach McDaniel said, the season starts now. And where do we want to be at the end of it? And so we need to put in the work, and it's up to you how hard you practice. We can lay everything out for you, but how hard you practice is completely up to you.
And then your JVers are going to be important here now, because you're going to need that bench when you get into the postseason. Your bench is going to be huge.
They are, you know, and giving those varsity girls maybe a little bit of a breather instead of, you know, they've had to go hard that first quarter by themselves just because we've been short on quarters. Kinley would play 3 and 3, so and Coca did too, so that's a little bit different. So, you know, but then them also realizing, like, this is a break for you, not because you did anything wrong, not because we know maybe you're not tired, but we're giving you a break so when you go back in, you can play that much harder. So just those 5 to realize you did nothing wrong. We know you're not tired, but it's a break for you, and then we're going to get you back in. You know, so, and giving those other girls a chance. Let them see what it's like. They're the future. You know? And so, I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be one heck of a tournament. I wish Thursday wasn't in the middle of the afternoon, but
I saw that. I'm like, 1 o'clock.
What's going on something with they have games Friday, so away team, when they get there, they're allowed to have a shoot around that night before. Coach Howard told me yesterday. So, but yeah,
Right.
you know, one game at a time though,
Yeah.
too. You know,
Yeah.
we can't overlook. We're either going to run into Oak Grove or Wapaton.
Mm-hmm.
And it's tournament time.
Yeah.
And they're tough. Wapaton's been playing really well. Oak Grove has been playing really well. So we'll see.
Roll the ball out there and see what happens.
Yeah. Just give it all you got, I guess.
All right. Well, Coach, I appreciate you stopping by here and talking JV basketball for the Highlanders. Like you said, they are the future. I mean, you only have 2 seniors on the varsity, so
Yeah.
these girls are going to be asked to do a whole lot of work next year.
They are.
But we'll worry about next year.
Yeah.
All right, Coach, thanks for joining us. Appreciate
All right.
it.
Thank you.
You bet. Coach Tara Glant joining us from the Highlander Girls Basketball. Back to wrap things up here from the Hack on the Highlander Activity Network. And back here on Coach's Corner as we wrap things up on this Thursday. Of course, if you miss it, we had our special state wrestling edition last night. As we speak right now, they are getting weighed in. Wrestling starts at 10 o'clock this morning at the state wrestling tournament in Fargo at the Fargo Dome. 17 Highliners left this morning and are going to be wrestling at the state tournament. 10 from the boys, 7 from the girls. And it's got to be one of the largest contingents that the Highlanders, if not the largest contingent that the Highlanders have sent to a state tournament, of course, with all 7 of the 10 girls going and 10 boys heading to state. So that's what's coming up this week. Our next broadcast will be, of course, tomorrow night. We've got high school basketball. The Highlanders take on Fargo Oak Grove. Junior varsity at 5:30, and then the varsity a little after 7. Senior and parents night. So we'll have that between games, and then the varsity game around 7:15 for the tip-off here. And then on Sunday, don't forget, we've got Wrestle Like a Girl, Girls Day, or Girls Night, however you want to phrase it, with the Express Wrestling, K through 6. They're going to have close to 100 wrestlers here on Sunday, and coverage will get started around 1 o'clock, and we'll have just complete coverage all day long. And so join us for that on Sunday, and that's probably gonna wrap things up. We probably have one more big express tournament to go, but other than that, our winter sports season as far as the Highlander TV Network will be on the back burner, and we look forward to the spring sports season. But next week we'll be talking boys basketball again and see what we've got after the state wrestling, and girls basketball, where they're sitting as they get into the next round of the region tournament. My thanks again to our coaches, Jim McDaniel, Tara Glant joining us today, of course Ray Nelson, our camera operator, technical director, and producer here today, and you, our viewers. We appreciate you joining us here on Coach's Corner. We got boys basketball coming up tomorrow, 5:30 for the boys, JV, 7 o'clock for the varsity. Until then, I'm Paul McDonald. Thanks for joining us on Coach's Corner on the Highlander Activity Network.